to success, but you can only go as far as you want to go. Okay. A lot of my students have really good study habits. I put a video out, they're on it right away. They're studying it, they're looking up other stuff on YouTube, about that subject. Like I said, most of the time when I give you guys these videos, I'm touching on the subject. It can be expounded on. It's up to you to say, okay, well, let me do a little bit more research on that, see if what he's saying is on point, and to see if there's more information out there. Like I said, you've got to want this more than I want it for you. I definitely want it for you because, as you guys know, if you're not asking questions or stuff like that, I will call you and say, hey, what's going on? Because I don't want anyone giving up on this. This is something that you can be making thousands of dollars per week, per day. You can make $1,000 in an hour. There's no other job like that. You can wake up when you want to. You can go to sleep when you want to. You can go on vacation when you want to. Nobody said that this is going to be super easy. I'm making it a little bit easy because I'm giving you all the steps that you need. But for a job like that, think about this. A doctor has to go to school for 8 to 10 years to be able to make 6 figures a year. You take this course and within a couple of months or within a month or two, depending on your study habits, you can be where you can make 6 figures per year just by paying attention to videos and charts and being disciplined. So with that said, I'm not going to beat you guys in the head with all of this stuff, but today we want to go over more stuff about just trend. This is for more beginners. If you're an experienced trader, I still would watch this just to brush up on some stuff. But I'm going to talk about trend because in the forex market, in any stock market, anything, the one thing is that you want to be aware of the trend. All right. So we spoke about something trending the other day when we were talking about this movement. When you see something moving straight up like that, that means it's trending up. But I'm going to more define it as a trend and give you guys some stuff to put on your charts, that'll keep you aware of the trend, because we're going to be using this stuff in my next video. When we start using the Fibonacci tool, I'll show you the anatomy of a trend and that it always fits into some sort of mathematical equation, the way how it moves in that trend. Okay, so the way how a trend is defined is, let's go to a I'm going to switch this chart. I'm probably just going to go to like a 15-minute just so we have more information. Okay, so a trend excuse me, is defined by, if it's an uptrend, you're going to have higher highs and higher lows. All right? So let's see what that means real quick. Alrighty. Here's a nice little uptrend on this 15-minute chart. This we would define as an uptrend. Now check it out. Right here, we're not trending. They would call this a consolidation area, okay? So the market just consolidated right here, which means it basically just went back and forth. Nobody won. Nobody was able to bring it higher. Nobody was able to bring it lower. In our basketball example, the score really just stayed the same right around here, okay? So now the market pushed up and we have a first series. This was a high. We have a higher high, right? So this high was higher than this high, so we have a higher high. So what I'll do is I'll mark that. I'll say, now you guys will be doing this on bigger time frames. I'd rather you do it in the 4-hour chart or higher, so you can see the bigger term trend. So I'll mark that with HH, higher high. Let's make that a little bit smaller. Now you don't want this stuff in your way. You just want to have it on your chart where you can be cognizant of it, right? Let me make that a little bit smaller. 12, and let's change that color. Let's change it to green, because when it's going higher, it's green. All right, and this was a higher low because this low is higher than this low down here. Okay, you have a higher high, then we have. We wouldn't know this is a higher low until it takes out this high, but we have a higher low because it's lower than this. So let's say we have let's mark that up. Higher low. Boom. And let's make that blue. You guys don't have to use my colors. You can use whatever colors you want to. but you just want to mark it. So we have a higher high and a higher low. So already I'm thinking this market is probably going to continue to trend. We should have another higher high and then another higher low. Well, for example, once again, once the market got to here and it started coming back down some, I said, well, look, we have another higher high. Just going to copy that. And put that here. And look, we have another higher high. And still hasn't fallen back enough, giving me a good pullback to say a higher low. So we have a higher high, higher low, higher high. Here we go. We have another higher high. Let's clone that. And we have another higher high. Now we still don't have another higher low, so this is our low of reference right here. So ever since this low, we've had a higher high, higher high, higher high. Some people might use this as a higher low, but I want to see it pull back like you see this made a pullback. If it went higher, I would say, oh, this is my higher low. But I don't see anything that looks like that. This thing it's been trending hard. So which really means that it's been one way. The bulls have been winning this matchup the whole time. Remember, bulls take prices higher, bears take prices lower. So the bulls have really been winning because we've just been making higher highs and we haven't really made any higher lows. So finally we come up to here and the market fell, pushed back up, but it didn't take out this high. Oh, what does that mean? All of a sudden, we now have a lower high. Lower high. So right here we have a lower high. I would know this not right here. I'm not making this decision right here. Let me pull the chart over to show you right where we would know this. When this breaks this low, because remember, an uptrend should be continuously higher highs and higher lows. Well, this market came down, it didn't make a higher high, so it's kind of telling you, hey, it looks like this uptrend might be stalling, right? Take a second to soak that in if you want to, but remember, you've got to continuously make higher highs and higher lows. Here we made a low. If we went higher than this point here of reference, then this would have been a higher low, but it's not because the market stalled and fell lower. So when I saw it fall lower than this, immediately I'm going to mark this point here and say, hey, this is a lower high. Lower high, LH. And we're going to make that red because bulls take it red, right? So we have our first lower high. And let's put that right there. And this is also you are aware of the trend. The one thing that a trader always has to have is an awareness of the trend, okay? They always tell you the trend is your best friend because a lot of times, even if you're wrong, if you're in the direction of the trend, you have a chance of getting bailed out, all right? So we have a low, and by like I said, when it took this low out, the next one that it bounces at is going to be your lower low. So we have a lower low. After that, lower high. I'm going to make that LL, like Cool J. And we'll make that, like, let's make it magenta. All right. So now we have a lower high and a lower low, and the market came back here. Once it broke this point here, I knew that this was a lower high. So once I saw both of those happening, I say, well, look, we are now trending downwards. because we have a lower high. Lower high, another lower high, and we also had a lower low. So lower high, lower low, push back up, lower high, because it still hasn't gotten back above this. Possibly starting to trend down, but we don't have all this information over here yet. But we're just gaining information as the market goes. What I'm doing is I'm training you guys' eyes to see this stuff, right? This is trader basics. Some people go against the trend, which you don't want to do. Most of the time we're getting in at a low, or we're getting in at a high. But the most times when you look at like the bigger time frame, what I'm setting you up for, if you notice this is happening on a 4-hour time frame, when we look for trades with our setup, we're gonna say, hey, if I see one that's going in that direction, my probability of winning that trade just went through the roof. Okay, so just so you guys can start recognizing that. So we have lower high, lower low, lower high. What do you think is going to come next after we saw this lower high? Well, most likely it's going to be a lower low, right? So as you can see, the market started pushing down very hard. Here we made a low and we pushed back up. So this would be marked as my lower low. Let's bring LL Cool J down. Let's clone him. There you go. They put you up there. Down here. So here we have another lower low. When you see the market made a low and bounced, and you mark it lower low, most likely you're going to think, hey, we made a lower low, so the next possible thing we're going to do is try to make a lower high, right? This, once you know the direction of the trend, you're not looking to say, hey, I think this thing is going to go all the way up. You like, look, this was my last lower high. More than likely, it's looking for somewhere to make another lower high so that it can make a lower low, because we've been trending down, right? And the trend is your friend, right? If you don't learn anything else from me, learn the trend is your friend. The trend is your friend. The trend is your friend, all right? All right, where are y'all putting these clones at? Because I'm cloning and I'm not seeing. Oh, sorry. I was cloning the wrong guy. Let's get rid of you. I want to clone you. All right, let's get you cloned, buddy. Bam, there we go. And we'll bring you down here because we had another. Once it came down and broke this low, I knew that this was a lower high. So in succession, I'm expecting this market to continually make lower lows and lower highs because we are now trending. We're trending. That's what you consider a trend. And I just want you guys to be able to spot that. Like, hey, you know, just be able to use the language. But like, hey, I see that we're trending lower. I have a setup waiting, but I am aware that this trend is down. We made a lower low. You can clone that, put that right there, right? And then we bounced and we made a, once we took this out, this was a higher high because it was higher than this point. But as you can see, now this is why we're doing this. Check this out. So here, let's clone this. Matter of fact, let's just move it right here, right? But you guys clone it and make sure you have your charts marked with it. Here we have a lower low, right? We made a higher low because if you're trending down, you're never supposed to take this out. If you notice, this market pushed up, it pushed up some more, it made a lower high once again, but it never made a lower low. That's bringing your awareness up saying, hey, well, how come I didn't make a lower low? Because once you saw it stop here once again, and it pushed up, and it stopped here once again, and it pushed down, and it couldn't break this low, this low is possible a support. And if you guys have your support and resistance lines drawn on your chart like we went over in the other videos, then you'll possibly see that this